Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Bay Sunday. I'm your host, Frank Malika. Got another terrific show for you on this Sunday. But first, as always, a little reminder. We encourage you to follow us on social media. A lot of extras there, behind-the-scene informations and reviews. You can connect on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you got a good idea out there, we'd love to hear from you on those sites. And, of course, CBSSF.com all the time. Our first guest is the Executive Director of the Transgender Law Center, better known as TLC. Their mission is to support transgender community, providing support both from the legal side and education to protect the rights and safety of transgender people. He has served as an activist for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender equality for over 10 years and does not plan on slowing down anytime soon. Please welcome Masen Davis to the program.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good to have you with us. Just for our viewers, tell us, what does transgender mean?
That's a great question. Transgender people are those who don't fit some of the narrow gender stereotypes we typically associate with men or women. There's a wide range of transgender people. Typically, people think about somebody whose gender identity, the way they feel about themselves and their gender, is different than the stereotypes we usually associate with their sex at birth.
Okay, and is there a lot of oppression out there? A lot of folks that, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Discrimination, I guess, out there against transgenders.
Yeah, there has been some incredible progress, I think, in awareness about transgender people and transgender lives. Certainly, we've seen a lot of evolution in our laws, especially here in California, protecting people against discrimination. But employment discrimination, healthcare challenges, housing issues continue to really plague this community. The National Center for Transgender Equality and the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force did a survey just a couple of years ago, and they found that unemployment and poverty rates are double the rates of the general population when you look at transgender people. And for transgender people of color, unemployment rates are 4 times as high as the general population. So,
and what about health care? We talked about that off camera, but that's a big issue, not only for gays and lesbians, but especially for transgender.
Yeah, and with healthcare reform right now, this is a really big hot topic for us. A lot of us do need access to health care specific to the fact that we are transgender. For me, I'm a transgender man myself. You know, I've lived as a guy for about 15 years. I'll be on testosterone for the rest of my life. It's actually a really critical part of my own primary health care. And yet many plans will include some sort of language that will limit access to that, that we believe actually goes against the spirit of California's non-discrimination laws. Just even finding a doctor, though, who knows about transgender people, that understands transgender health care, can be a real challenge, which is one of the reasons we do a lot of work with community clinics throughout the Bay Area, helping them connect with doctors who know about this population and demystify actually providing health care to transgender people in the area.
And I would think just getting information out there so people know what's going on. What exactly, you work kind of in the legal side, but you're not a lawyer per se,
That's right?
And what exactly do you do then?
I'm the executive director of the Transgender Law Center, so I get to help, manage an incredible team of attorneys, policy advocates, and community advocates who are working every day to fight for transgender equality. We really champion the ideal that everybody should be treated fairly and equally. And yet, as we've talked about, transgender people, especially people who don't fit narrow gender stereotypes, continue to face discrimination and harassment that really undermines our common human dignity. So we work for and with transgender people and our allies to change laws, to change policies, and to change attitudes so we can all be who we are.
And Governor Brown just signed 2 laws into effect that's going to help the transgender community. Talk about those, and it's a step in the right direction, I guess.
It's really spectacular. A number of community members banded together and worked with Transgender Law Center and Equality California last year to introduce and then get passed 2 really critical bills, the Gender Non-Discrimination Act and the Vital Statistics Modernization Act. And the Gender Non-Discrimination Act is really simple. It just clarifies that transgender people are covered under California's non-discrimination laws. We've had good protections, but they've been hidden away in many ways, and they weren't very visible. So we found that transgender students, for example, didn't know what their rights were. HR managers didn't know what their responsibilities were. So now, as of January 1st, in the employment posters that we all have in our workplaces, you will see under protected categories, gender identity and expression for the first time ever in California law, and we're thrilled about that development.
Is it a big population, transgender, and are they making progress?
You know, it's hard to know how many of us are out there.
Yeah.
Certainly, there are a number of folks like myself who, you know, may blend into the woodwork, and unless I come out as a transgender man, people may not know otherwise. And we don't show up in places like the census. We're not counted right now, so it's really difficult to know where we are. It's one of the reasons it's really important over time that whether or not somebody's transgender is tracked and documented on things like the census or California's health information surveys, so that we actually have a better sense of how many of us are out there and what our needs are.
Sure you didn't go to law school?
I don't know. I do like to joke, you know, I did go to law school, but it was when I was 7 and my mom was going back to school. So I'm thrilled that we've got such a great legal team working on these issues every day for over 1,500 people a year at this point.
Well, Masen, you speak very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Thanks.
And if you'd like some more information about TLC, please visit their website at transgenderlawcenter.org. All one word, by the way. Stay tuned. More Bay Sunday coming up right after this. We'll be right back.